This video is brought to you by viewers like you. Hi, and welcome back to Pokemon Ecology. Today, we're looking at Growlithe and Arcanine, as well as their Hisuian variations, two seemingly normal dogs with a weird connection to China. Before I start, don't forget to go vote in the poll for the next video. And without further ado, let's get into things. We will not be starting with Denition. The artists and animators decided that drawing the carnassials of a canine Pokemon is not important, which it isn't, but it makes me sad. Growlithe's snout is awfully short, making the chomp's power focused, but weakening its ability in some fights. Borzois have longer snouts, so they have stronger snouts for the purposes of holding down prey, in this case wolves, until a hunter can finish it off. This shorter snout mainly makes me think Arcanine is fighting something with a tougher hide. The bulk of their body may be sufficient enough to hold down the prey, while the other Arcanine come to finish it off. I'll talk about this more when I talk about prey and predators. The shorter snout does have a glaring drawback though. It inhibits breathing, or at least is not as capable as the longer snout. It's no major design flaw, but it does mean that the fire in their bodies powering their ridiculous running speed puts their shorter noses through serious labor. Growlithe is stated to have a superb sense of smell, and can even sense emotions, and apparently dogs can do this in real life. They heavily rely on this when tracking, as the ears face forward instead of outward. The ears facing forward reminds me of German Shepherds, which are also police dogs. They likely have them for the same reasons, that is, chasing down prey. A Growlithe chasing smaller prey through a rocky habitat will be able to track them even when they hide and pivot behind rocks, as such movements will be easily heard. The eyes are unremarkable. They face forward for the same reason dogs' eyes do in real life, which is to chase prey better. I'm glad that we're having some normal eyes after the horror that was the evolutions. In terms of territorial disputes, Growlithe and Arcanine likely compete for territory with the likes of Lycanroc, Houndoom, Boltund, Mabostiff, and Manectric. A lot of canid Pokemon that share territory with it. Luxray also comes up very often. Nidoqueen, Nidoking, and Haxorus would also need the stronger bite force that their shorter snout would offer them, as I mentioned earlier. And in terms of predation, there are quite a few here that are likely predators based on real-life interactions between dogs and other animals. Things like Arbok and Noctowl we know will actually attack dogs in real life. Staraptor is also possible. Eagles don't predate on dogs in real life, but this is not strictly an eagle. Rhydon and Bewear are also possible. Bewear shares some territory with them and are known to be very protective. Rhydon less so. Kingler, Dreadnought, and Galvantula share territory, so while it's not a guarantee, it is not impossible for them to be predators of Growlithe and Arcanine. And finally, their human interactions. They've been paired with humans since the Stone Age. And while that's true for real-life dogs, the real-life Stone Age is a few million years old, so this gives us really no frame of reference, at least in the Pokemon world. The scruff on Growlithe's body makes me think it lives in a variety of colder regions, which is vaguely supported by Hisuian Growlithe's emphasis on this scruff, considering they live in Sinnoh. When Growlithe evolves, they grow these strange tufts of scruff on the legs. This makes me think they're more for intimidation than anything, but it seems to be a top dog in its introductory region. It's even 2 feet taller than its likely Cantonian competitor. The patterning on their body is very similar to tigers. This patterning breaks up the coloration on their body, which makes them much harder to see when stalking. Some animals in real life can't even see the color orange, making it appear green, which is much harder to see in scrubby grassland. If we assume that they can see orange, then the striped coloration still helps make them appear like a blur when they're running. Hisuian Growlithe has igneous rock in its fur from the volcanic activity present in its habitat. Interestingly then, the fur could be used as insulation from both the heat and the cold, or even as heat insulation while it relies on heated volcanic stones for warmth in winter months. And as a standard, the tail is large, and it helps with balance, a statement I've repeated again and again. I really like the leg design on Arcanine. They're very bulky. While they're not sleek for incredible running speeds, they're still great for running and are especially good for fighting. It seems their legs are well coated in muscle, and they may have thick bones. Legends Arceus even agrees. Despite its bulk, it deftly feints. They don't remind me of a greyhound running quick as can be, but instead more like a Pyrenees or a Bernese. And I mention running speeds in greyhounds because, unfortunately, though Arcanine has evaded high temperature numbers despite being a fire type, it finds itself running 6,200 miles day and night. Not stopping for any of those hours, it runs at 258 miles per hour without slowing down, and it could run the circumference of the globe in 4 days. The fact that sun and moons and trees don't mention anything about speed other than running great distances lets me know that they really regret those older entries. One Dex entry says that it runs so smoothly it appears to be flying, which reminds me of cheetahs running about that quickly after their prey. This is because their heads stay steady staring at prey while their legs and tail flail everywhere, making them look like a sort of cheetah torpedo. Again on the topic of running, while riding on Arcanines in one episode, they canter while being ridden, but speed up into a gallop when speed is necessary. However, we see they slow down by sitting on their butts, but dogs in real life either decelerate quickly or make quick turns. As accurate as Arcanine has been, aside from some glaring issues, even in the anime, more goodness on that later, its feet are all sorts of incorrect. Growlithe has 2 front toes and 3 back toes, and Arcanine grows a 3rd toe on its front feet. feet. I'm sure there's a weird marsupial out there that grows an extra finger as it matures, but these are canids, not marsupials. That's very strange. And the final element of anatomy. Fire doesn't act as fuel like this dex entry states. It burns fuel to extract energy, but this is a massive nitpick from me. On to behavior, mostly territoriality. They're protective of their territory like most dogs, and they're even shown to fight off Ash after he mistakenly tries to capture a farm animal. In Alola, Growlithe has territorial disputes with Rockruff. Interestingly, wolves in real life are incredibly respectful of other packs' territories, but the rapidly developing Alola could be pushing their habitats and causing interactions and fights. As a first for this channel though, I'm going to look at one episode of the anime under a closer lens. On Cloud Arcanine's Arcanine is stated to used to never come down from the mountains. This could be either a respect of people territory, but she could just be avoiding people. She's also stated to have food and water in her home range, and they even animate the drinking correctly. Eating berries is accurate as well, as canines in real life don't exclusively eat meat. The Arcanine licks her puppies, which is how dogs pet each other and how they try to pet you. And the running is decently animated aside from the use of the move extreme speed, but it's shown better in other episodes. Overall though, congrats anime, you were actually more accurate than most of the dex entries. I can't criticize any of the fighting in the anime, as then I'd have to research dog fighting, and I'd rather not. And finally, in regards to territory, more focusing on habitat, Arcanine is stated to be seen running through prairies, but much of their habitats in the game are rocky. Bulbapedia agrees on Growlithe's Paldean habitats. In line with these rockier habitats, it seems this line mostly hunts small game, with the occasional territorial dispute with a big competitor. This rocky habitat also supports what I had theorized about the ears earlier. And that was Growlithe and Arcanine. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, leave a like if you enjoyed, and don't forget to check out the poll. Subscribe if you want some more, check out my Patreon if you want. Seriously, these guys are a huge help. They help pay for our commissions, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.